Hello. Let's go up here real quick. In the little kind of thing on the Aries. I think it's a cool spot to look at the stars and stuff. Okay. I have this all scripted, by the way, so I'm just gonna be reading it. I wanted to start out by saying that I don't know what this video will do, what it'll impact, if anything at all, but I wanted to get my full thoughts out there, so I put this together and I really hope you enjoy it. Okay, let me turn this music down. Hold on, I gotta like. Okay, scuffed as ever. Alright. What is Orion drift? Well, when I asked myself this question, I really couldn't give one answer. Because it simply is too much to encapsulate in one word, one sentence. It's a lot of things. It's beauty, it's empty promises, it's a community, it's a future, it's a video game, it's an experience, it's a home, it's an addiction. Crazy to say about a VR game, but all those words are true. It's nothing, or maybe it's everything, depending on who you ask. It's a matter of perspective, really. Matter of experiences and emotions that you gain throughout however long your play sessions are, how long you choose to stick with the game. If I had to choose one thing, though, I think I would choose hope. Whether that's individually believing in your future regarding the community side and the many roles that can possibly lead somewhere greater for you as an individual, or just the game's aspirations and fundamentals as a whole. I believe I speak for us all when I say we are all share this hope for something better in regards to multiplayer VR. If you come and made your home in Orion Drift from the grave of Echo VR, or maybe the game that honestly should have died by now, Gorilla Tag, or maybe just some other multiplayer VR game. Heck, maybe nothing at all. You stayed because of a promise. A promise of hope for VR to be taken by storm by this very game. A promise for a true zero-G competitive VR game capable of rivaling the dynasty Echo VR had. A promise of a new, insanely fun system of movement knocking most VR games out of the park in terms of capability. A promise for a casual, social, fun, hangout game where stuff can be made with a little editor for silly and crazy events. A promise for a game where you can easily meet and become someone important if you know what you're doing and actually put in the effort. A promise for it to be everything you could possibly ever want it to be. A promise for a future of virtual reality as a whole. You know, listening it all out there really does just put into perspective how insane the goal of this game is. You know, oftentimes we can all forget how awesome the concept alone is, let alone the fact that it actually exists and it's all actually making progress towards all of these goals. The insanity of this game is reaching for with its built-in systems is crazy. It's really not like things will get worse. It might get different, and it might not be what the community wants. But realistically, it will only get bigger, and it'll probably only get better. At least, that's what I like to believe. Let's not forget about the backing this game has within the Axiom, the company that paved the way for the future of VR games, whether good or bad, depending on how you see it, in virtual reality with its first release of Gorilla Tag, made up of some of the best VR developers of all time. It's just so crazy how this game can even exist. Like, I can't get over how insane it is, and there was even a company set up to even attempt the scale of this game. There truly is nothing like it, nothing close. It's trying something new and great, and while the current state might be pretty bad, steadily it will just get better and better and better. And that is what keeps me around and so many others around with it. Some people need it to succeed, committed too much for it not to succeed, at least in their heads. Fallen into the trap of putting all your eggs in one basket, you know. But anyways, I digress. However, nothing is good without its bads, and this game is no exception. The game and its company, Another Axiom, which I've now been fully committed to for a year and a half plus, while great in a lot of ways, can be truly bad in at least a couple of big ways. At least in the current state of things. And I really wouldn't feel right going over the goods without going over the flaws too. This song does not work for this. It's on shuffle. Dude, what? It's lying to me. Nothing is good without its bad. Oh, I already said that. Dang it. So unprofessional. Alright. For starters, if you go into the game of Driftball, you will basically hear one complaint every game. The issue of lag. For a long time now, it has been a horrible issue plaguing the game. MI, missed inputs, high ping, frame drops, all of the above. The game, frankly, well, it sucks with its lag. It can truly make your game actually miserable to play when it's really bad, which, depending on where you play in your environment and which you play in, can basically be every time. I've been very fortunate to be in a location near servers where my ping or lag is always fairly low, but a good amount of people aren't so lucky. I wish I could speak more on how bad this can be, but I really don't have the worst personal experience of it. But even then, I've seen people quit because of it. In my limited experience of horrible lag, it's still very noticeable. For example, sometimes the ball just teleports slightly out of my hands, or another example being, for 5 or so seconds, all the players on the ball will basically pause for that time period. It's such a silly issue too, because it's the main game mode, or it affects the main game mode, rather. And while I'm sure they've been trying to fix it the best they can, I'm sure they don't want their game to lag. It's still just such a persistent issue. Partially because of the prior statement of lag dictating game Driftball, and I suppose Z-Drift to a point, if you even care about it anymore, but also to a variety of other reasons, such as its fundamental bad design, especially of the arena, speed overtaking and destroying every other meta, and soloing being way too overpowered. The competitive scene of this game is awful right now, and honestly, it has been for as long as I can remember. It's gone to the point I feel there isn't really any point in trying to take it seriously, as the times I have, they've just ended badly. Not necessarily that it's all on fun, in the right environment of people and ping, it can definitely be fun. I mean, people still play Driftball thousands of times a day, proving that fact. It just isn't the competitive game mode that most of us expected, or at least wanted. As instead, the game is currently evolving and more focused on its social and relaxed aspect, which, while good for the number of users, a number I'm sure AA looks a lot at, it isn't good for the comm scene that desperately wants to focus on actual, genuine, perfect competitive game. Which also leads into the next issue I have, the weird priorities the devs have. While I understand some of the reasons, I just feel that the priorities aren't always aligned as our ones, as they should be. A good example being the prior mentioned Z-Drift, with it coming out in a buggy and super unpolished state, not capturing the hype it definitely could have had they just worked for a smaller test group like ODOS or Comp for longer to actually make a good design for it, rather than just making a basic arena and system, pushing it out publicly and then leaving it alone for its entire current open early access existence. It's all just so weird, don't you think? I understand that game development is hard and that this is early access, whether I feel like it or not, and they definitely should have released something then to keep more a hype as Z-Drift. The game they promised and surely knew could have hyped everyone up, being released then in that state. It just seems so silly. I actually don't understand it. And that's just one of many examples. It just kind of feels like AA has a set path, and it doesn't like changing it unless absolutely necessary. I would love if it leaned into what the community expected more than the random updates, which, while good sometimes, other times are just completely unexpected and miss the mark completely. And while I'm sure one day no actually makes Z-Drift good, right now it's just like, why is it in this state? Also, I wanted to mention, and I wrote this the part that I just read before the Aries, so hopefully that develops a lot more and Driftball becomes an actual great competitive game. But I guess only time will tell. Along with the problems of priorities comes probably the biggest problem in my eyes: the lack of community involvement and general communication. See, while yes, there is a Dev Talk channel in the Discord where they post upcoming updates, and yes, there are events every week, they're really not involving the community. More so, just keeping them entertained. And once again, I understand game dev is way harder than I'll probably ever understand. But can it really be that hard to have another Devs vs Drifters, or an art challenge, or even just finish Driftball? You know, the main game of it. I mean, like, at this point, it's a joke to even ask when Driftball will be finished. It's just like, come on, people. What are we even doing over there? Anyways, this lack of communication about what's going on until right when it happens leaves the developers themselves out of touch with the people they are trying to make stuff for, which sucks because it means we might never get what we want before virtual reality dies, or the game dies, or the earth explodes. I don't know. Anything can happen, and the future isn't and never will be confirmed for us. Big thing to keep in mind. If I had to tell you how I would do something to fix this problem, I would tell you straight up. Now, I would love to see another roadmap and more community polls and events. Instead of setting the standard that we barely do any events, we should set the standard, or not barely do anything, barely do any events, or only do events with outside communities. We should set the standard that we love our community and their ideas by doing events and adding things revolving around them. And that's just with the development and the actual game. How about we talk about the communities for a second too, as they are nowhere near free from problems. For example, a problem I've come across more and more as we go on and on with this is that all the roles just loop into themselves, and they ultimately lose value. Most of the community captains are ODOS. Most of the ODOS members are Orion guides. And if you're a guide, you're probably just community captain at this point. It just gives the same 100 or so people literally everything. Probably an overshoot, by the way. If you are a community captain, you could probably get Passenger Club member, or maybe even vetted if you truly want to. If you're a community captain, you could probably get rookie coach or event staff or whatever because you're community captain. Not because you actually necessarily care about the community you want to roll in. I've seen this firsthand happen many times, and while I'm not community captain at the time of making this, and trying to become one for Passenger Club is in vain unless I shift my values completely, I have enough roles and I have enough insight and experience to tell you that if you want another role, the easiest way by far is just to already have roles. If you want to roll, just be popular, because that's all it is here. You want Passenger Club member? Be popular. You want a rookie coach role? Be popular. You want a Drifties award? Apparently don't even play the fleet. You actually want the award in. Just be a CC or something and be popular. 7-7 community. You know, be popular. Popularity is a plague within here. You want event staff or Orion guide or anything else, basically just become popular. As it feels right now, it's basically all you need, and I'm so sick of it. I hate it. It's kind of, okay, this part's kind of silly, but I'm gonna keep it in. It's kind of just like the U.S. spoil system. And yes, I did recently learn about this in American history at school. You know, the system of putting people into political positions after you get president just because you like them and they believe what you believe. Well, let's just say there's a reason this doesn't exist anymore. At least mostly. What is that reason? Well, the reason is clearly because it led to corruption and major flaws within the economic and governmental systems of America. If you just put the same people that already share the same views with you in charge of everything related to power, then nothing's gonna change. No new thinking, no new laws, or in this case, events and maybe rules for a fleet. It's just gonna keep going and going till it probably collapses. Even if they aren't the best fit, or they start using too much of their power, or whatever, there's no rule for the community to vote people out. And there won't be, because why would the people in charge not want to be in charge anymore? If you know anything about what I've done regarding Passengers Club, this has basically been my mindset. Anyone can sit down in meetings, but if you don't care enough to promote your community or even play it over Strike or Clubhouse or Parkour, why do you still want the people with the highest roles? And yes, I'm aware this is a mindset I have, and this is why I probably don't have admin in Passengers Club, as well as the fact that this isn't just a video game. Sorry, I also understand as well as the fact that this is just a video game and it's not a serious. But if we don't take anything seriously, then what's the point of doing anything? Don't you just think it's so nice? It'd be so nice if we had a voting system or community representatives. Shout out Batoza for that idea, by the way. For each community, instead of the power of being with the same people until the end of time. I've been told that if the people in power don't care for the communities anymore, they are encouraged to step down. And while I'm sure that's true, at least regarding pastors, I've yet to see proof that they care. It's not necessarily that they don't, but it's probably not as much as me or others could or do actively. All right. Listen, at the end of the day, nothing is set in stone. We'll never know about the future till it happens. However, with that promise for its future being such a big aspect for why me and you are probably still here, it means this game is relying on its future. So it's better to be a great one for the game's sake. With the game looking like it is now, though, and the VR scene as a whole being terrible and possibly destroyed by Meta soon TM, it's not looking too good. Though Gorilla Tag wasn't its biggest till after early access, maybe this game will be the same. If early access ever ends, at least. Honestly, I couldn't tell you, even from all my roles and knowledge, when it will. Never Axiom is just too unpredictable and uncommunicative for me to even give you a proper guess. I'm not making this because I hate the game or the communities. Far from it, actually. I love this game. I love its concept, its community, besides some of the admins, of course, but I love most of it. I'm making this because the world is in such an awful place right now, as it is, and I just want the game to not suck too. Is that too much to ask? As optimistic as I am, this game has brought me my hopes and emotions in general on a roller coaster. Crushed and revived all over and over and over again. I do truly hope for the best, as I am one of many that have put too many eggs in the basket. Speaking of which, let's talk about me, for example, for a second. How have I changed because of Orion Drift? Well, frankly, Orion Drift has fundamentally allowed me to grow as both a community figure and a person in spectacular ways. Before this game, I was a lot more immature, less thoughtful, less understanding, as I never really had a reason to become a better human. No rules to lose, no reputation I need to uphold, no nothing. Nothing to gain, nothing to lose. I'm not saying I was a terrible person, but more so just a lot less grown up. But for needing to hold myself up and actually wanting to be respected by those that I respected around me, I simply fell into how I am today. And while I still have a long way to go, as much as I hate to say it, I am just a 16-year-old kid, confused by life and his future more than ever right now. No matter how adult I can try to seem, or even how boring it can all be sometimes, I still have lots to learn. I do often wish I didn't grow up so fast, as I feel I've burned myself out with how much I've done, and how much I've changed and matured. But oh well, my smarts have led me here, and we're on this ride, and we're not getting off. The wonderful ride of life. It stops for no one, so don't fall behind. I do try my hardest to be someone others look up to, as I know people do. A lot of people do, even if I forget that fact, they do. And I do try my hardest to help others. I'm skipping this song before continuing. This is like going. Do I try my hardest to help others and myself when I feel like I need to, but honestly, it's just been feeling like I do too much. I learned a lot from this game, a lot of life lessons, for sure, and I hope to continue to learn them as we go forward. But I think as of right now, I kind of just want to be happier. I think this game has both made some of my best moments of my current life and some of my worst. From being surrounded by my friends that I respect and love, playing one of my favorite games, from that to me being shut down with reality that difference in activity doesn't matter as an admin, at least to the other admins, and crying over it, and like actually being super emotional about such a silly position. But at the same time I've been pursuing this game, I've been missing out on my life. This is the most isolated and lonely I've been in real life for a long time. And while it's mostly because we're all growing up, this game has only increased that feeling. I don't necessarily regret anyone or anything I've done, but it's just something to know. I've been so obsessed and I've blocked out reality as it is. I want to play this one song. Alright. In a second. Okay. But it's something to know. I plan on going to college, for example. No idea on, but I have no idea, for example, on what what to go for. I'm planning to go because I've been really good in school, and it feels like it's been really easy for me. It just seems like the right step for me. But besides that, I have nothing else planned. Kind of sad to say out loud, but that's me. It's probably a lot of you too. Welcome to my life. I really don't have much more to say, but I want to end this off with thanking a bunch of people. And there's a lot of people here that have made my experience in this game a whole lot better, whether from Pastors Club or not. Okay, yeah. Do you think I can do this in a minute? Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we go. French Toast, Shade of Dice, Tegan J, Nabi OD, Tony Go 17, Psalm VR, Trace T, King Affleck, Batoza, AA Candace, Bingo, Kayla, Beanie Boo, Wolfa, Away 17, Diora, Nogo, Banana Man, Rev Dave, Peanut, CJ the Caster, Brick Rage 12, Hunter B, Lauren Yuki, Mr. Duck, Ryla, Mechanical Brilliance, Azon Ignite, I Love Beef, TS Dusk, Boom 1, Mr. Crystal, 1 of 1, Cactus, Matthew, Decipher Omen, Saka, The Green Pigeon, Death Not Gonna Lie, Actual Trashkin, Sick Mave, Sweet Tooth, Marshy the One, Victoria, Duck 45, Down Man, Monk the Drifter, TGB 13, Boganara, Quipster, Kova, Jules, Brandon OD, Farmer Mike, Beanot, Burp, Cool Kid CS, Gav VR, Wife Ever, Min Woolly Chef, Beast Nut Perk, Scripted Pie, Rugger, Funtime, TGB Apple, Alive, Wire.com, Dotty Poppy, Mellow, Wire.com, twice apparently, what's Trabex says, Funtime, CCG Galaxy, Bogeyman, Carnage, Buddha, Tinu, Graham, Taji, Crystal Sun, Amal, BCY, Chow Town Tall Dude, Condog, Crystal, Gif Yankee, Nottop, Agent T, Flynor, Honeybee VR, Baz Slip, Monkey, Miami, Messick, and AA Storm. And so many more. Thank you. And have a good night.